How are you doing? Well, I saw this discussion between these two guys. They were discussing the fact that Meghan and Harry had just returned from their very successful Nigerian tour where they were ambassadors for the Invictus Games, spreading information about Invictus and looking at Nigeria as a potential future participant, and also as a place that's interested in actually holding Invictus Games somewhere around 2029. And they very successful tour. They had just returned to the United States when it was reported that Archwell was reportedly delinquent, according to their filings with the California Secretary of State, and it was reported that they were told not to accept any money nor to give out any money. And everybody who hated this couple was joyous, but unfortunately for them, this is a very common thing to happen, especially for new businesses, and is easily fixable, and it really doesn't affect your business at all. In fact, I know of some very many very big, important, worldwide known companies who have been delinquent in their filings, and some of which have actually lost the names that they had for many, many years because they never repaired their delinquency. This term delinquency is, of course, new to the British, so they didn't know what to make of it, and they felt this was a horrible, horrible thing. So I just wondered what they would think if they knew about Donald Trump. Donald Trump has a Trump Media, his business where he regularly writes nasty things to people, and then he merged with Digital World, and he is listed on the Security and Exchange Commission as DJT. Well, there was a recent filing due to the Security and Exchange Commission, a federal commission that monitors stocks on the various stock markets. And Donald Trump was not able to do his filing on time. He was delinquent in his filing, and so he filed a paper saying yes, he is delinquent and he wants approval to file late. So why is he delinquent? Well, Donald Trump originally had a good accounting firm doing his financial reviews. Unfortunately, they quit because they thought there were some irregularities that they did not want to get involved with, and so they quit Donald Trump's business. Donald Trump looked around and found another place to do this accounting, and he chose, out of all the places available, he chose a company which was doing fraudulent accounting. That accounting company was found by the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, to be fraudulent. They did an investigation. They fined the business $12 million, and they fined the owner of the business $2 million. And now Donald Trump has a new accounting firm doing his accounting for his business, and we don't know what's going to happen with that group, but they did not file on time to the SEC about their financial doings and their status, because people who are investing in stock markets should be able to see what's going on in the business and how they're handling their funds. And if you don't file, people don't know what they're investing in. They don't know if you are already bankrupt, or where things are headed. Are things headed up, or are they headed down? So Donald Trump filed that he would do his filings late, but of course this gives him extra time to possibly get his hands on all of the money, because he has a 6-month window from starting this business where he cannot touch the money. Now, he could have gotten rid of this 6-month no-touch money period, because he owns 60% of the business, and he could have just voted with his 60% to allow himself to get the money. But because of the fraud that's going on in the DJT stock, I am sure the SEC would not allow him to cut short the 6-month window. So he is going up to 6 months, where at 6 months he can dip in there and get money out. And that so far has left him currently at about $7.9 billion, a windfall. And if he can get his hands on that, that will be great for Trump. So Meghan's and Harry's filing, which was late, and it's only a couple $100, was easily corrected, and they are in good standing. Trump has a much bigger issue, and he has a lot of fraud behind his businesses, as we saw with his other trial, where he was found guilty of fraud and had to pay millions to the state of New York. But he said he was too poor to pay the bond, and so they gave him a lower bond so that he could appeal. He wants to appeal that conviction. So he's loaded with fraud. But let's see what these guys say about Donald Trump, because right now Meghan and Harry are out of the woods. They have resolved their problem.
Only worked 1 hour a week on their charity, and then of course there's only 2 donations now, for 2 major donations. And I know a lot of donations in charitable work have gone down over the last few years thanks to the pandemic. It's a phrase we don't know over here actually, Stuart, called delinquent, where they haven't filed their paperwork. We don't know it as that. It's just seemingly not filing their paperwork. This is bad news for the Archewell Foundation, simply because if they can't get that simple thing going, then what on earth is happening to donations? What are they actually doing with their charitable foundation? Now, I don't actually lay the blame upon Harry and Meghan, although they allege that they run everything. They pay a lot of people a lot of money, and they sort of claim that the check's in the post, then it was delayed, then they were issuing a check. Clearly they're lying. Somebody in that operation is lying.
Somebody's lying, Donald.
Now to them to secure donations, and I think more importantly, this is
Donald wants more money.
If you're the Invictus Games and you're looking at sponsors and all that sort of stuff, is Harry in charge of that? Because quite frankly, I wouldn't put him in charge of a piggy bank. It's not very good, is it?
Ouch, that one hurt there, Neil. Right, King Charles, why?
So he wouldn't put Donald Trump in charge of a piggy bank, because he can't do what they are supposed to be doing, and they don't know what they're doing in the business. Now, in the other New York fraud case, when Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. testified, Donald Trump Jr. said he had been through business school, and he felt he was, he is a senior member of Donald Trump's corporation, and he told the court he did not know what GAAP meant in accounting, generally accepted accounting principles, and he said he doesn't need to know accounting because he hires accountants. He said, how can he be guilty for having bad accountants? And if you're in business and you're head of a business, you have to know accounting. You have to know if your accountants are doing things correctly. But Donald Trump Jr. said no, he did not need to know what generally accepted accounting principles were, and he did not need to know what his accountants were doing. He just signs the papers, whatever they put. As you can see, that did not go so well with the SEC because the accountants were doing fraudulent accounting. Now, in with the SEC case, and with the other, with the New York case about his property fraudulent accounting acts, Eric Trump said that all he did was pour cement. He is also one of the heads of the Donald Trump Corporation, and he always carries himself as if he is a an intellectual businessman. He also went to the Wharton School of Business and graduated, and he says that in the corporation all he does is pour cement. And I bet you Eric does not ever pour cement. So, like this guy said, somebody's lying, and he wouldn't trust them with anything because these guys are lying. These guys are lying. And they're laughing because they think they're striking out at Harry and Meghan, but they're really talking about Donald Trump and his family. He would not trust Donald Trump, and he does not think Donald Trump is fit for business, and that he is corrupt and a fraud and should not be handling anybody's money. This is what these guys are saying here. And I think they're on Fox News, and they sound like they're coming from Britain. So I thought this was funny because they think it's hilarious that they're stabbing somebody else, but they don't know they're stabbing Donald Trump. That's funny. Okay, like and subscribe. Bye.